It's very, very heavy, heavy paper. This feels almost like photographic paper, almost like a book of prints. It's so heavy. The blacks are really nice. This is the kind of paper that I like to print on. I like contrasty, grainy, dark black and white that has really rich blacks. It's got just the right amount of sheen. This paper feels more like we're moving in the direction of almost like a bound print portfolio, which I think is basically what every photographer is looking for. I'll get a lot of use out of that paper for sure. If you're a color photographer and you want a little bit more high color, high contrast, this is the paper that I would use. And again, there's a really nice sheen to it, but there's no color shift when I hold it to the light, and there's also no, the picture doesn't disappear when it's held in different lighting sources. It looks to stay consistent. Wow, it's completely different feel. It's a little bit lighter. Actually, what's interesting about this paper is that typically with the fine art papers, it was a lot harder to get a dark black. This seems to have really nice blacks. I think it's almost as black as the coated paper. I used to shoot a lot of portraits, and I loved the uncoated original fine art paper because I wanted a more subtle color and I wanted less contrast, and my primary concern was the skin tone. This is a fashion portfolio, so this photographer might have had the same concerns that I would have with a portrait book, which is skin tone, color, but not crazy color. And this is sort of a muted tone book, which is really nice. There's a little bit of tooth, but it's not a watercolor paper. The texture of the surface is a really nice kind of, it's tight, but it's not like microfine type thing. Those tones are what a lot of people like. I mean, it's great. I'm primarily a black and white photographer. I love the idea of being able to make something that has a charcoal gray cover and an end sheet on the inside that matches. The bead on this one is probably twice the size compared to the gray one. This has very much like an earthy tone. I like this texture. It almost has more of an organic feel. And again, I think the variations in color on the end sheet is just fantastic to give it a little extra spark. This immediately to me feels like color portrait book, and the gray book with the gray charcoal cover for me personally feels like the documentary book. It fits more the style of the book. You've got to figure out what kind of work you have, what kind of body work, what you want that book to be, and then choose the paper accordingly. So it's nice to know that these papers have been thought out and Mohawk's been around and they have a great history. When you give us things like extra linen covers, matching end sheets, amazing heavyweight paper that feels like a bound book of photographic prints that I can customize, I think suddenly this book takes on a whole different perspective. It could end up in a lot more places. It can be used in a lot more ways. And that's ultimately what we want. I think if I can speak for photographers, we want everything. We want it now. We want every option under the sun. So it's pretty nice to see these things coming.